pulled a fucking goddamn senior recruit field fucking recently. Fucking dude, just lost track of fucking road tax.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I was on travel for shit about a month, and then between Sailor of the Year week, here a week, and then Pac Fleet Sailor of the Year, then here a week, and then DC and San Diego. So I get back and go over to BRO. I'm like, yeah, I need to get my fucking shit updated. They were like, oh, you can't pay your road tax here. I'm like, why not? Because you still got your Nagasaki license plates.
I did the same shit coming from fucking Assawa, man.
Dude, I was like, come on. So this weekend I stayed with John Hook for 3 nights, and then I stayed with John Oliver for 2 nights, and had Hook run me over to the VRO down there, and you know, it's quick, man. You know, they already got your stuff set up.
Down there it's easy, right?
Done,
you got no fucking Yokohama and all the bullshit.
So I went today. Go get my daggone sticker. Guess what? They're closed every first and third freaking Wednesday of the month. Yeah, you know. Like, so anyway, seeing a recruit field moment, bro.
Yeah, dude. I tell people this all the time. About half the fucking time, I still I look in the mirror. I'm like, that's fucking PN3 Howell. Like, hey buddy, how you doing? Like, I feel like PN3 Howell at least half the time, right?
Yeah.
I'm just a PN3 Howell that decided to make about 50% better decisions in my life, you know what I mean? Like, enough to raise a decent family. And
you know, man, I tell you, I never in my wildest dreams did I think I'd be where I'm at today, man.
Oh, bro.
You know, I had the intention, I tell you, so when me and my buddy Fred Chavez, we both made chief. I was covering down on the Thatch. He was with the Marines. He was out boots on ground during the OIF, OEF. And then when he came back, he took over the Thatch. That's when I went to Milius.
Yeah.
So when I was on the Thatch was when we were decomming the Connie. Well, of course, I started grabbing all these medical instruments and, you know, gear to stock up his frigate, you know. And the baby doc at the time, I forgot what his name was. He got out. But they had won the Green H.
Yeah.
And baby, I walked into medical one morning, dude, and he painted every daggone gray cabinet.
Yeah, dude, Green H,
baby. Man, dude. I was like, baby doc, what the hell, man? Anyway, so him and I made chief the same year. And I remember sitting down in the garage with him, and he was like, well, that's it. We made chief, you know? And we were been in 11 years.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, I said, I could retire here. You know, I'm good, you know?
Yeah.
And then, you know, you get to your next command and you start seeing, you know, you want to make changes in the Navy, right? You want to influence changes, right?
Yep.
And it's like, damn, I got to make senior chief, man. You know? So then, bam, made senior chief. We both made senior chief the same year.
Yeah.
And then, okay, we're good.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
No, man. No.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
Made master chief. And then, of course, you know, that was my goal was, you know, to be able to be one of these leaders that sits at the big table where these decisions are being made, whether it be in DC or, you know, San Diego, and being able to influence those policies. Because sometimes, you know, when we write policies in the Navy, we don't take into consideration the fact that you and us here in FDNF, we have other rules we have to abide by.
Right.
Because we're in a host nation.
Right.
You know, so sometimes those policies don't necessarily align to what we want to do out here, or how we can implement it out here, because there's some barriers that it's difficult for us to kind of overcome.
Right. Yeah.
You know, but yeah, man, it's like, you know, I was just recently in DC and you know, Mick Pononea, God bless his soul, I think he's doing awesome.
Hey, man.
Yeah.
Let's get him on the podcast, dude.
Huh?
Let's get him on the podcast. Let's get Jim on the fucking Rising Sun podcast.
Let me, so I'm trying to work his SOE right now, right? To come out.
Dude, I will have him here just like you're sitting here, and we'll just have a conversation, dude. Yeah. I think you know by this time, like, I'm not trying to set anybody up. Dude. We're just talking. We're talking like two Master Chiefs talking, right?
Yeah, no,
Anyways,
they're
but
great.
I digress.
Yeah, no, he's Mick Pon's awesome, man. And then you know, you got Fleet Perryman sitting up there.
Yeah.
Fleet Forces, you got Fleet Terrell doing great things with Vice Admiral Cheeseman.
Yeah.
You know, and so just to be able to get those emails, and I just received one recently is saying, hey, we're looking for some small wins.
Yeah.
What can we do that doesn't really require us to go back to the drawing board and change a policy?
Right.
You know, and I was recently part of this overseas screening working group, and, one of the big pushes was, you got a sailor on the Reagan that strikes, pack sailor, strikes for a rig, gets orders to the Reagan, has to do a whole other overseas screening.
Right.
How much redundancy can we put in this process,
It's been that way, so.
It has. And everybody's problem, we're going to change it, right? But because I think you've got the right people in place right now that are, they have that influence.
But VMed has to play.
They do, and then now you got the Defense Health Agency as well.
So
that's a whole other,
right?
Yeah, another layer.
Dude, so I experienced this when I was the regional program director for Navy Wounded Warrior. In Hawaii, right? Okay. And I'd never really understood that there's such a rift between BUPERS and, in Navy medical, right? Like, I get it, right? Because your health information is not your personnel information. They're two different fucking things, right? And so, like, UMed does not want to share information with BUPERS. They shouldn't. At the end of the day, they shouldn't, to an extent that it still protects the privacy of the patient, right? You know what I mean? The member of the patient. But I think that rift really creates a lot of fucking problems, right? So, like, an overseas screening is a personnel function, right? That ViewMed, so medical providers have all of the influence over.
Yeah.
And so there's something there, right? There's something there that, like, those two organizations have to be better aligned. And in my experience, they are, like, way fucking misaligned, right? And but I digress. Here's what I want to ask you about, Dan. And I'm taking it out in left field. Yeah. So I'm a fucking sap. I'm a fucking total fucking sap. I'm an Aquarius for what it's worth.
Me too.
Yeah, are you?
Yeah.
What's your birthday?
February 15th.
Are you February? Yeah. February 2nd. Okay. Groundhog Day, right? Yeah. Every day's Groundhog Day. So I'm a total fucking sap. So I want to know how you and Jamie met. Like, I want to know that whole story, dude. Like,
oh man, dude.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it didn't have to be like glamorous or anything. Yeah. Like, I'm just curious about it, right?
Yeah, so we met at the airport.
Together?
Met at the airport? Yeah. We were in the lounge.
Yeah.
And I think I was getting ready to fly back to Dallas, Fort Worth, because that's where they do a lot of stuff with the F-35s there.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was met in the lounge. We exchanged phone numbers, and we would text each other whenever I was back in port. It'd be just Sundays, text back and forth. And then our first date was my command CAG 5 command holiday party.
Oh, yeah.
After we just got back off of patrol.
Yeah.
And I remember sending her an email, and I had asked her to go out several times before. She's always busy. She had a big job in downtown Tokyo. And I sent her an email. I was like, hey, listen, this is the last time I'm inviting you.
Yeah.
If this is a no-go, then I think you and I need to split our separate ways and move on.
Yeah.
And she said yes, and we went out, and so we dated for 5 years.
Wow.
Yeah, 5 years. So the whole time I was at CAG, we were dating. I had met her just as I was getting ready to leave Okinawa.
Yeah.
And then CAG 5, I was with her. And then when I moved to Sasebo, here I am. I got this 3-bedroom, house. Yeah. And I was like, hey, listen. And she grew up next to Tokyo Skytree. That's where she was from.
Okay.
So I said, listen, why don't you, consider moving down here? And so you can, because we knew we were going to get married.
Yeah.
And she did, man. And at first, she did not like Sasebo, man. That's how man. So, my house was
big city girl,
bro. Yeah, I was like, my house up on the top of the mountain. I had one neighbor to the left of me. The house on the right, they were just laying the foundation. No street lights.
Yeah.
Bugs like this big.
Fuck yeah.
Right?
Huntsman.
I never had experience with huntsman spiders until I moved to Sasebo.
Holy shit. Hold on. Yeah. Hold on. Keep that train of thought. Bro, the first time I fucking saw one. You're talking about like the bow tie motherfuckers.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Bro, we were in fucking Kagoshima. My wife's uncle. Holy shit, I'm having fucking like real PTSD moment right now because I hate fucking spiders, right? And her uncle has like this big, well, he's dead now, but I love him. Fucking rest in peace, fucking Kim Boni-chan, right? But he had this fucking house, right? With like a rolling garage door, which is not common in Japan. This big fucking house. And like we got there and I'm like walking in like, oh, hey, everybody. And I walk under the garage door and my wife knows I hate fucking spiders, right? And she's like, oh, hold up. And mommy loves fucking with me, right? She's like, oh, hold up. Like, meet that. Like, look, right? And I had never seen one, dude. And I'm from fucking Louisiana, so I see some big ass spiders, right? But I looked up and that motherfucker is laid out with fucking like, because you know how they sit with like 4 out on either side, like a crab or some shit, right? And that motherfucker's this fucking big, right? He's this fucking big.
Yep.
And I looked up and I was like, dude, I freaked the fuck out. I was like, oh my God. And I fucking ran. I ran the fuck away, right? And so anyways, that was my first experience with the huntsman spider. Yeah.
So mine was very similar. I was coming out of my house and it was probably about 2100, 2130, and it was trash night, you know?
Yeah.
And you know, in Japan, you don't put your trash out until like 2100.
Until it's time,
right?
Yeah.
And I turned on a light, opened that door, man. I had 2 steps, and then I had like this. I had my driveway had space in between each square for grass,
right.
you know.
Yeah.
And I looked down, dude. That thing was about yay big.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And that thing took off, and I threw the trash in
Fuck this shit.
But yeah, you know, she was there for about probably about 4 or 5 months.
Yeah.
And then she got hired at the exchange, man. She started working at the exchange there in Sasebo.
Yeah.
And then she just started making friends with the locals, you know, and next thing you know, then of course COVID hit, which was good for her because the industry she was in before the food industry, everything shut down in Tokyo.
Right.
You know, so it's kind of an answer from a prayer, you know, or something. Hey, you maybe need to go down there because this is about to happen. Who knows if you're religious or not? But yeah, and she thrived in Sasebo, man, and then being able to meet the people I met down there, bro, was just phenomenal. Yeah. Phenomenal. I mean,
those best people.
They are, and even you got all the retirees, right? I mean, it's just such a strong community, and then the locals, man. I mean, like I said earlier, man, we became friends. Actually, I'm doing barbecues at my house, and my whole front carport driveway full of kids and full of people, and then the Japanese being able to experience that type of food. Because I make a lot of Mexican food. And it was amazing, man. But that's how we met, bro.
That's awesome.
That's how we met, man. Yeah. And then we got married in May of last year.
That's awesome.
Yeah, dude. May of last year up in Mount Umahari.
Umahari,
yeah.
So I have a Umahari fucking story. That's like the first place I made out with my wife, man. Like 100%.
Yeah,
100%.
That's
we drove up there. Yeah. One of my best friends, he was also a PN, and he's since out and has done well on the outside. Lives in California, like Bakersfield area, and is doing extremely well. Anyway, so like his wife Chika, who I just saw down in Kagoshima, and my wife Mami were best friends.
Okay.
And he and I were best friends on Essex, and we met them at fucking Hassenbach.
Oh wow!
Fucking place.
Wow,
right?
man.
There's a Cuban band playing at Hassenbach. Real talk, we had been drinking all fucking day, right? I had on like some stupid fucking like cut off fucking shirt. I was dumb fucking 23.
Cut out right on the side.
100% my shit's all hanging out, right? And I only had a couple little tattoos, so I didn't even look cool yet. And I remember we went and we were like, oh, fucking, Cubano music and shit. And we look up on the front row and I was like, damn, those girls are fucking cute, right? We roll up there, I'm all fucking drunk. And we get to talking to them and whatnot. And like, we were out of fucking money, right? And it was a Sunday. And we were like,
and so it was just Saturday, huh?
Dude, yeah, dude. It was like, can you guys bring us back to the base? So like they drove us back to the base. And anyway, so but yeah, man, it's
just a bit. That community, man. I mean, just phenomenal, brother. And
yeah,
to be able to interject myself with the locals as well, and got to know the politicians, the chief of police, all these influencers that would come and spend the, Saturday evening at my house and hang out and partake in beverages and food and man, it was just, and Jamie she settled right into it, man.
That's awesome, dude.
So then this job comes open and I was going to interview, and I told Jamie, I said, hey, this is a busy job, man. This is busy, like a level that I was expecting, but not as much. And when Jason was in the seat was during COVID, so his travel opportunities was very limited, right?
Yeah, very different.
And I'll tell you, man, the first 3 months on the job, I was gone 6-7 weeks, man.
Right.
7 weeks of it,
because that's part of the job.
It is, man. It is, and especially when, again, getting the opportunity to advocate for sailors, and what we need out here to support the fleet and families too. And then now, our DOD, our USCS folks, our MLCs,
right.
Just the workforce that supports what you and I do to get us underway.
We don't do it without them, man.
No, we don't.
We do not do it without our Japanese fucking employees.
Yeah.
We don't.
Yeah. They're
it doesn't happen.
They're important, man. So yeah, man, that's a little story there, brother.
I love it, dude. Yeah. Like I said, I'm a big sap dude. Like, I love, love stories and I don't know, man, finding that fucking special fucking person, man. Like, I don't know, man. Like, it's just, I don't know. Again, I just enjoy hearing those stories. But kind of to your point, though, man, about like our Japanese employees. So I'm really blessed to be where I'm at right now at SRF. I mean, we got 3,000 plus Japanese employees, man. And it's so fun, rewarding for me to watch how much of an investment they take in their job, dude. Like, they love these ships. One of my good friends at SRF, I've known him since I was on FITS. I was on FITS from 11 to 14. And back then he was just, he was a kind of low level guy, worked on project management type shit. And Shimizu-san is his name. And like, he's a surfer, and like we've stayed in touch since like 2012. Wow. And when I came back to SRF and he's all gray haired now, I was like, bro, he's like, what's up, bro? And just to see the investment they have in these ships, right? And it's really, I don't know, man, it's encouraging, It's not just SRF, you've got lots of employees for the base, and awesome. Again, I go back to, like, these are the best partners we could possibly have, man. Like, these are the best allies we could possibly fucking have, right? Because, if shit pops off, like, they're ready to go, dude. It's going to be a little bit of a pull for the general population, but not that much. If they feel threatened, like, I think it's all, like, it's going to be all in popping. Like, if the Japanese populace feels threatened and the government says, hey, we are threatened, we need you to support this, they're going to take COVID. Look at COVID. Like, they turned on that quick to support the mission. The mission was prevent the spread, right? If the mission is protect our country, right? Dude, come on, man. The population will be on board immediately.
And I'll tell you, Dean, that's why, and singing to the choir here, our relationships with our JMSDF counterparts, is probably one of the things that there's so much value added to it.
Yeah.
And my conversations with them, how can we think together, think the same?
Right.
So when that does occur, we know automatically
That's
what
to
do.
That's it.
And they're great people too, man.
I love them.
They're all awesome.
I fucking love them, man. I love them. Yeah, when we just did this, most recently, Rob, Beachy and the region, they set up this thing where we had like all the JMSDF SELs, and we were all in the C2 auditorium. And maybe I was out of bounds, but you know me, man. Like, I speak.
You're never out of bounds, bro.
Yeah. So we were in our little group of like 12, it was me and like 12 of them. I was like, are y'all ready for war? Right? And they were all like, I was like, yeah. Are you ready, translator? Like, let's talk about it. Are you ready? What happens when they try to take Taiwan? Are you ready to support that? What if they launch a missile into Japan? Are you ready for that? Again, I'm not asking for a response from the 7th Fleet CMC. I'm just letting you know that, like, they were. Mm-hmm. They were like, yeah, like, let's ride. But, Japanese, officials, even at the senior enlisted level, like, they know what the company line is, and they will stick to it no matter what, right? Yeah. But there's nuance to the way that they answer the question, right? It's like, they will give whatever the official response is in a public setting, but they'll give it in a way that you understand what they're saying. That's what I love about the Japanese, right?
Yeah,
like, they're able to answer questions that are their answers are very nuanced, which you can kind of derive what they're trying to say without them actually saying.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
No, it does. It does.
Yeah. So
it does. I've had several of those conversations in my backyard.
Yeah.
Usually about once every other month, I'll have all of them over at the house.
I love it, dude.
And
that's why you got the fancy house, bro.
Yeah. Just no orphans, bro.
It's bullshit.
It's all good, man. But yeah, it's this has been an experience, man.
Yeah.
Really, a truly humbling and honoring experience, man.
I love it, dude.
It is.
I love the fact that you're the 7th Fleet CMC, man. Like, there could be a lot of douchebags there. Thank God there's not a douchebag in your position. So,
too, Dean, when once we get to the level we're at the time that you and I are in,
yeah,
we were raised, you were raised out here in Japan.
Yeah.
100%. Your mindset, your tactical, operational mindset was here in Japan.
Yep.
I've sucked it through the fire hose the last 10, 11 years.
Yeah.
And I think anybody would have been good at 7th Fleet.
That's a very humble position to take, and I appreciate you saying that. But I believe that you're the right man for the fucking job right now, and I do not expect a response after that statement. Just accept the gratitude graciously. Okay. So,
thanks, brother.
No. All right. So let's move on to this portion. So, like I told you at the outset of this thing, really only focus on 3 things: like, where'd you come from, where you at, where you going. So now we're at the where you going portion, right? So, what's next, man? And when I say what's next, I mean like, not necessarily what are your plans. I want to hear what your dreams are, man. Does that make sense? I don't want to hear what is rational and makes sense for the next 5 to 10 years. Like, I want you to tell me, like, what do you want to do? Like, if you were in your perfect situation in 5 to 10 years from now, what would that look like?
So this is going to sound kind of off the wall, but this is one of my passions. I love to cook.
Yeah.
I love to cook, man.
Yeah.
I love to cook Mexican food. My mom taught me, even though she was from Missouri, my parents' first year and change of their marriage, they lived in Mazatlan, Mexico.
Yeah.
With my grandmother, with my nana, my dad's mom, and my nana taught my mom everything. My nana was the one I'd come home and she'd be making the flour tortillas by hand. Just phenomenal food.
Yeah.
And you don't find too much of it out here. That's similar to kind of like what you would get in San Diego.
There's no good Mexican food.
And my dream is to open up my Mexican restaurant in Sassaville.
Holy shit!
And make it a chain.
Yeah.
Yeah. Campos Tacos.
Say it again.
Campos Tacos.
Campos Tacos.
Campos is Spanish for field.
Campos. Yeah. So I'll put it in the episode description. So Daniel Campos Field.
Yeah.
Right. So Campos is your
last name Field, but I put it in there.
Does Campos is father or mother?
No. So Field is my father. Campos is just a name I put in there for field. That's Spanish for field.
Oh,
so okay. If you talk about going to the campo, you're going to the fields.
Oh,
yeah. So my actual middle name is Kirk, K-R-K. And we never took.
Wow.
My father's father was Irish.
Okay.
Born and raised in Mexico. That's last name Field.
Okay.
And Nana's last name was Escandon.
Okay.
But we never took.
Escandon.
It's Escandon.
Yeah.
It's we, like myself, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my goal, man. That would be my ultimate dream.
So Sasebo is your spot.
Yeah, Sasebo, brother. You know, eventually, you know this, man. This is all going to come to an end for all of us, right?
Yeah.
We're going to have to transition.
Yeah.
And you know, hindsight 2020. Well, looking back, you know, I wish I would have done more in the investment world.
Yeah, me too.
You know,
me too.
I mean,
me too. Yeah.
You know, I think focus on that 20-year retirement and 50% of your paycheck, right? Okay, I'm good, right?
Just fucking living.
Yeah. But lessons learned, right? And kind of things that I tell sailors now is, you know, get into investments, get into, you know, your personal funds and get those things growing. But yeah, that's kind of where, you know, I see myself going, man.
I love it.
Yeah. You know, if another job happens to open up after this, we'll see what that opportunity is.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. Something that I have through the course of this podcast, and I feel extremely fucking blessed to have started this podcast, man. Like it was a real kind of like leap of faith.
Yeah.
And look, dude, like it's nothing crazy. But what it has allowed me to do is to meet some people that are doing things in their life that I want to emulate. Right?
Okay.
And so when I hear you talking about you know, your future opening a great restaurant in Sasebo, that really makes me happy to hear that, right? Because
I appreciate it.
Yeah, dude, because I think that we get so indoctrinated into this thing that we think that the only viable option for us is to continue to do this thing.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go be a contractor. I'm going to work for XYZ defense firm. I'm going to stay in this construct that I'm comfortable in. Yeah. That I know how to speak the language, and you know, I will have status upon arrival into this place, right? You know, whether it's Deloitte or Khaki or whatever, you know, name one of them, right? And I'll tell you, man, like I've been really blessed via this podcast to like, even though it makes me super nervous, to like really embrace the opportunity to like, I can do whatever the fuck I want to.
Yeah. No, you're
right. And I'm capable and you're capable and we're all, especially like our senior enlisted, man, like we're the most vulnerable fucking population in a sense that we really truly are, man. Like if you're a young 4-year fucking corpsman, fucking personnelman, and you're like, man, I crush that shit. Time to move on, go to college, and then the world is your fucking oyster. But when you decide to serve your country for as long as we have, it really is a pretty fucking daunting idea to like not do this anymore.
It is.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, man. And you know, you've seen it, same as I have, that, you know, people struggle. That transition, they struggle, especially the ones that have lived off the title.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
They are.
Yeah. And talking to the same people you talk to is like, hey, there's one day that all ends, man. And you're Danfield. Doesn't matter.
That's it.
Any title you have for that, you're Danfield. So don't ever forget that. And I think that's one of the things that I've carried with me for a long time is understanding it's going to end. And when it does eventually end, being able to still maintain those relationships, because I never burned those bridges when I was active duty.
That's right. Yep.
You know?
Yep.
That's how we were able to do what we did, you know, during COVID. That's how we were able to do the dirty planes, all the connections I had through the CAG 5 organization, you know, the buses, you know, I mean,
right.
The Navy didn't stop,
right.
You know, and not just active duty. I mean, that was moving your SRF people too as well, you know, back then, right?
Yep.
And those were the relationships and the bridges that I built that I think are going to pay huge dividends here in the future.
Yeah.
Based off of whatever my plans are. So,
yeah, I love it, dude. Yeah, I just think that like I think that we deserve to build the life of our dreams, even when we're fucking old dudes, right? Like, if I'm an old dude, like, what do I want to do? Like, look at John Hook. Like, yeah, John Hook worked for fucking SRF for a whole other fucking retirement, right? That motherfucker's growing peppers. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I know, man.
You got a farm.
Yeah.
And like, you know, maybe he kind of got late to the game to do, like, to live his fucking, like, live his dream, right? But that's it, though, right?
Yeah,
like, and so, like, let me share you. I'm going to share with you my dream.
Okay.
Right? So, my dream is I've got a residence in Texas, and it might be a fucking RV, bro. And I don't care. I've lived in fucking worst.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I've got a residence in Japan.
Wait for you, man.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's a little 2-bedroom, whatever. We're here in Yokosuka, right? Nothing crazy. I don't need a fucking mansion, bro. Yeah. I need a place to lay my head.
Yep.
You know what? You know what, dude? Like, I come back with mommy to Japan. I stay for a little while, and then I go to Yokota. And I sit at the AMC terminal. And I hop a fucking flight to Singapore.
Yep.
And then I hop a flight to fucking Thailand. And then I hop a flight from there to Vietnam. And you know what? I get one of those little fucking Honda fucking 50cc fucking scooters, and with all my shit, right? I got a fucking backpack, and I did shit I should have done when I was fucking 20, right? But I'll do it when I'm fucking 50. And I'm not getting crazy. I'm not drinking. I'm not doing any of this crazy shit, right? I'm just fucking like
living life,
just living
life, man.
Just fucking living. And by the way, I'm creating content, right? And I think there's value in showing, especially America right now.
Yeah.
You know, something crazy, like only 30% of Americans even have a passport, right? Like, let me show you what's possible.
Yeah.
Hey, 22, 25-year-olds, like, get the fuck out of fucking podunk and, like, go see the world.
Yeah.
Right?
No, I agree with
you. You don't have to join the military. Just go see the fucking world. It'll change your whole perspective on shit. And, you know, if I got to be the old guy that's fucking doing that, like, I'm happy to do it. Right?
Yeah.
And
we've lived such a structured life for so long.
Yeah.
You know, we're like robots, bro.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's automatic.
Yeah.
All right, going to work, read the POD, check emails, right? Command cell phone. Yeah. Right? I mean, how nice is it? Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, and that's what, you know, to be able to do what you want to do anytime you want to do it.
Yeah.
Is probably the most freeing sensation you're going to have in your life.
Yeah, dude.
You know?
I think that for people in our position, I think that why did we serve our country? We served our country for freedom.
Yeah.
But then the idea of serving our country for 30-ish years and then restricting ourselves again, it almost seems like you defeat the purpose, right? Like,
yeah. Yep.
And I'm not saying, you know, that like you won the lottery, you get a free pass to do whatever the fuck you want to, but I do think that for, you know, people in our position that like do it for a lifetime, like maybe you love being a tweaker and working on things, and maybe you love the structure and like that's where you get your joy. But for those of us that don't necessarily get your joy from that, like, don't be afraid to do it.
Correct.
Like, don't be afraid, man. What's the worst that could happen?
Back to square one.
You ain't gonna fucking end up in the gutter, bro. You made it for 30 years.
Nobody's taking away your retirement, you know?
Yeah, you can be fine. Yeah, you can be fine, right?
Yeah.
And I think that, you know, I guess that's a message that anybody's listening is like, hey, man, like, when it's done, like, don't necessarily do what is expected of you. You know, as long as your family's good and you're meeting your obligations, like, do what you fucking want to do.
Yeah.
Like, do it.
And I'll tell you, you brought up a good another topic, your family, right?
Yeah.
Look at the structure your family's had to live under for those X amount of years, right?
Yeah.
And for your family to experience that liberty as well, the freedom that you're going to have once this uniform comes off and we hang it up for the last time, I think it's just rewarding for the family too, man. Because I mean, they ultimately sacrifice the most for us, man.
You know, it's crazy.
I tell people, was having a conversation with somebody the other day on the phone, CMC, and there was a job opening up. I was like, hey man, what are your thoughts? He's like, hey, he goes, my son's in the senior year in high school. I don't think the timing is right. I'm like, that. Hey, totally understand, because I was that guy 12 years ago that chose my career over my first family.
Yeah, right.
Right. And that's probably one of the only regrets I have in my life, because my kids are in San Diego. COVID, couldn't see each other for 3-4 years. Before COVID, I used to come out to Japan every 6 months, and my son was even looking at jobs at SRF. He's in IT.
Yeah.
But take care of that family.
Yeah.
Take care of that family, because they're the only ones that really kind of help us get through what we have to endure day in and day out. And then your spouse plays father, mother, uncle, brother, sister.
Right.
I'm preaching the choir, but just I want to. Families are important, man. I can't say that enough.
Yeah. Yeah, my wife's a fucking saint, bro.
Yeah.
Like, I tell people all the time, like, she has a special place in heaven reserved.
It's good, man.
Because she fucking stuck with my dumb ass for fucking 20 goddamn years, right? So, she's a fucking saint. But
and that's one thing Jamie's learning. She came on late in my career, man.
Yeah.
She didn't grow up with me from an E1 to E9. So it's, she's also using the fire hose right now. So, and some things, it's hard for her to understand, but she's doing good.
But she's your ride or die, right?
Yeah.
She's with you no matter what. Yeah. That's all that matters, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right, bro. Let me tell you something, man. So we'll wrap it up here. I appreciate you coming on, man. Like, I hope you had fun. Was it fun?
I did. I love it.
It was fun, right?
Yeah, it's a good time, brother.
Yeah, dude. It's one of those things, like, can make you a little apprehensive. But I think that once any guests that I've had, and it's been a long time since I've had anybody in person, by the way. Like, when I was in Masao, I was knocking them out in person all the time, because it's fucking, like, it's not a big deal. It's snowy and like, hey, man, come on over, right? But it's been a long time since I had somebody on in person, and I've really, really had a good time, bro. So
I appreciate it.
I just ask you if you have any like final thoughts or parting shots or any wisdom that you can share with us, or whatever, or like fuck the world, like whatever you want to say, burn it down, like whatever, anything before you go.
Yeah, I would say to the general audience, and I don't know the age category of who your main followers are on, but based off of what you and I do out here, I would just ask that everyone is ready. Just be ready. Because we're going to need everybody, to include our families, and not to scare anybody, right? But we just need to be ready, man, because there is no time to take a pause, take a knee, to get everything together, gather our shit together, and head out, So that would be my final words, man.
All right, dude.
Thanks, Dean.
No, I appreciate you, brother. Yeah. You're fucking badass motherfucker, man. Hey, so I'll leave it like this, man. I always kind of like leave my audience with something, and it's about the same every time. So I have guests like Dan on the podcast, to show you that it's possible, man. So like, if you're trying to do big things in your life, trying to move forward, there's only one way to get there, and that's keep going, man. Like, if you ever fucking stop, you ain't never fucking gonna get there. So just keep going and keep rising.
Thanks, brother.
All right. Thanks, Dan.
Yeah.